So, welcome back. Have a quick comfort break. Everyone's got a coffee or whatever. And I believe now we have Mr. Nhlanhla Mazibuko, and he's ready and he's online with us. I'm excited to hear what he's going to tell us.
I'm super excited.
I think this might get I've heard a whisper that this may get the media and press talking.
Yes.
I don't know what. That sounds exciting. So
I just want to hear it because
done deal.
I think it's going to be big and
done
important.
Deal. Awesome. Nhlanhla, are you with us, sir?
Hi, I'm here, guys.
Good. Well, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hello. I'm great, and you guys?
Good, thank you. So Divan and I are very excited about what you're going to be talking to us about this morning. So I think we're going to get out the way and hand the stage over to you. So take it away, sir.
All right, thank you. So my presentation today is about the fourth industrial revolution and current electric vehicle opportunities in South Africa. And we're going to be talking about that and what we do at Mazibuko Motor Company and what we have in store for you guys. First of all, I'm the presenter, Nhlanhla Mazibuko. I'm the founder and CEO of Mazibuko Motor Company. To the next slide, so the introduction. So the fourth industrial revolution, it can be explained as a fundamental change in how we live, work, and relate to each other. Basically, unlike the industrial revolutions that we've had before, this one merges our physical, digital, and biological world, meaning how we live and what we do is more connected to the digital world. And then, when you please move to the fourth industrial revolution in e-mobility slide. And the next one. Yeah, so electrification is at the heart of, when you talk about e-mobility, electrification is at the heart that is driving the change, and that is into the fourth industrial revolution. As we can move on to the next slide. Electrified vehicles are changing how we design cars, from the body, the chassis, and the powertrain. Even yesterday, VW said that it's going to use its minibus to create its self-driving vehicles, because how we create vehicles from the electric vehicle, it has changed how we do everything. So how does this connect with the fourth industrial revolution? It starts with the connected car. So cars are more connected now. You get things like over-the-air update and vehicle-to-vehicle communication. But then what does that mean? Can you please go to the next slide? Connected. So what does it mean when we say cars are connected? It means that they're able to talk to one another. So if cars are connected and they have 5G technology and all of those things, if a car sees a huge pothole or something, it can talk to another one and say, hey, there's a pothole there, watch out. They can talk to each other, say, I'm traveling at this speed and all of that. So if cars are connected, if we move to the next slide, then cars will become automated. It means now we have autonomous driving, and autonomous driving is at the heart of the fourth industrial revolution, because self-driving cars have used things like, I'm blanking out, sorry. They use things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, so that they can learn how to drive as time goes on. So over the time as they drive, they learn how to become better drivers, how to be safe. And then with that, we can get less traffic on the roads and things like that. Personalized mobility. So in the heart of the fourth industrial revolution, like I've said, that the physical world and the digital world, they merge. So cars will become more personalized, and then they will learn our preferences. So once you get into your car in the morning, it can set the temperature that you like. It can suggest routes where you always go. It can suggest public stations, and it can talk to service people who do services, and it can tell them, hey, at this time, I think my brake pads need to be changing and all of those things. But cars will be more in tune and more personalized. It's like something that we're doing right now at Mazibuko Motors. We are designing a battery pack, and the battery pack actually uses machine learning and artificial intelligence. So basically, the battery pack will say, this person drives this distance every day, and they drive very slowly, or this person really likes to take their car to the limit. So over time, it can learn to optimize your battery pack so that it lasts longer. So that is personalization of the vehicle. So about our company, Mazibuko Motor Company is a technology and a battery electric vehicle company based in South Africa. And our mission is to speed up the world's transition from fossil fuel-driven transportation to electrification. Basically, I founded the company from the frustration, when you stay in South Africa and you're passionate about EVs, but we're not getting the EVs. I remember in 2016, Elon Musk tweeted that we were going to get the Model 3, and I was very excited about it, but we never got it. So with that frustration over time, I decided, you know what, let me try and get into the space and not wait, because the climate change problem we cannot wait anymore. It's a current problem that we need to change and that we need to tackle now. So like I said, the fourth industrial revolution and the impact on Mazibuko Motor Company. So how we see the fourth industrial revolution in our company, we use a model-based design method. So all of our components that we design and develop, we use computers to design battery packs, rolling chassis, and simulate the entire vehicle dynamics. And via this method, where you can do things via computers, you can save up to 60% of development costs. Okay, so on to the next slide, the M1B pickup. So the big announcement that we have today is that as a company, we've been working and trying to solve the e-mobility problem in South Africa. And we thought, you know what, instead of waiting for cars to come to us, how about we develop our own one? And we had a number of discussions. We thought of going the traditional route of maybe like starting with a supercar, something that's expensive, and then it can pay off for other models that come after. But then we felt like it's still going against what we felt like we needed. Even with the current electric vehicles that we have now, they don't really address what South Africans want. And just like in the previous conversation that we said that South Africa and Australia, they have different needs. And Rob just mentioned that you want a car that you can take and drive to Cape Town, up the mountain, in the rural areas. So that's why we decided to say, okay, our first car is going to be something that we know that we love and South Africans actually use, which is a pickup truck. Next slide, please. Next again. Yeah. Okay, I think we can move on as well from that one. So then about the pickup truck, our car has two motors, one at the back, one at the front. They have 250 kilowatts of power, and then in total, that's 500 kilowatts. The battery pack is 120 kilowatt hour. From our calculations, the car will do 0 to 100 in 5 seconds. The driving range is around 400. But that 400 kilometers is the very consecutive number based on our estimations, but we're very confident that once we can build this thing, it's going to get way more than that. But we just want to be consecutive about the number. So it's 400 Ks, and then the torque is 1,300 Newton meters. And now talking about the design. So the design process of this car, we started with what I knew that I wanted was the front running beam light. So then from there with the designer, me and the designer started to sit down and talk about ideas. How are we going to do this thing? What is it going to look like? And then we had a number of ideas. The beam was there. And then the fog lights at the bottom, we thought of integrating that with an intake. And then the rear, it complements the front beam light. So in the rear, we also have the beam light. But the main thing was we wanted a very clean, minimalistic look with the car, a very modern car, and how we see the bakkies of tomorrow would be. We didn't just want an electric car, but it looks exactly the same like we have now. So as you can see here from our designs, we started playing around with a couple of things. And on the right, with the white pictures, that's where we had our two designs. And then we had to decide which one we're going to go with. And ultimately, after doing a mini research with our team, we decided to go with the top right. Yes. So we decided to go with that and then start playing around with how it's going to come out. And from that, after that, we started to shape out the look. Then we started with the body shape before we could put in all the details. And then we did the body shape, started to put in the lights to see how it's going to look like. We designed our wheels. Okay, then next. And then after that, we had the car that we wanted. But from here, we felt like it was still missing something. To me, it felt like it was, even though we wanted to go for a very minimalistic look, we felt like it still lacked more character. We wanted it to be clean, but we also wanted it to be mean, to have big wheel arches but also very clean. So we went with the cameras instead of the rear view mirrors because a bike is very not efficient. So we thought, where can we not mess up the shape too much or create a shape that people are not familiar with? But also we had to think about aerodynamics and things like that. So we removed the handles, we made them to retract in, and then also for the rear viewing camera. And then now, as the slide you can see right now, that is the bike that we have now. And after adding a couple of more details, like the protective plastic at the bottom, we put in some reflectors just to give it a bit more character. And this is it. This is our concept car, the M1B pickup truck. And then those are some of the slides again. That's how it looks in the back. We also have the running beam light all the way into the back. Then that's the side.
Fantastic. So Nhlanhla, let me just stop you right there because you've just 18 minutes and you've blown our studio away.
Exactly,
Myself and Devon firstly want to know when can we place orders? Because I mean I've got a bucky and that, I would drive what you've just put out there. So when can we place some orders? I mean we need some branded buckies here.
Exactly. Where are you in the production cycle? I mean I don't even know where to start. I kept a bit quiet yesterday, but now I'm like speechless because I am. Talk us through.
Okay. In terms of for now, we're starting a waiting list. We're just gonna take waiting lists and then orders. I think that's gonna be probably in December once we have our prototype built out.
Okay.
And then people can actually see it and try and test drive it. Then you can place orders. But for now, it's just a waiting list.
Okay. So what you're telling me is that we're talking to South Africa's next. You're going to take on the Cybertruck. Is that what we're doing here?
Not the Cybertruck per se, but definitely the Hilux and the Ranger.
Whoa! But those are big boys.
They're my fighting words. Now
let me respect to them. Yeah.
Let me just ask a couple of questions here, Nhlanhla. So, electric bucky, and I think any South African who wants to get into manufacturing, obvious choice. I mean, buckies are our biggest selling vehicles. They outstrip everything. I mean, we all love a good bucky. From the guy in Cape Town who wants it so that he can look like he's ready for the urban jungle, to the grandfather in the rural area so that he can load the kids on and drive around. So the buckies are everywhere. I mean, buckies are South African. I mean, I think if a manufacturer had to start with one vehicle, every OEM would say a bucky. So well done to you. Let me ask a couple of two quick questions. You said 400 kilometer is conservative. Is that realistic?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a sales pitch, or are you really telling us that that's a conservative range?
It is a very conservative range, but I don't think it's going to go up that high. But I'm very confident we can hit that 500 kilometer range mark, especially in South Africa, because South Africa is very gifted. Our weather, we live in a very warm climate, and the batteries love that. So in a very warm climate, you can get more range. So we think in the real world, we might get close to 500.
Wow, close to 500. Devon,
Yeah.
you come from the OEM world. I'm sure you got a power
exactly.
question.
So I know the challenges. I know the process that you're going to have to go through. Please, even if we can talk, if I can help in any way, but ultimately you need a production license. You need to be an OEM. Yeah? And I guess it's not easy to get one of those licenses. Yeah. And then obviously there needs to be the entire, the build up, the ramp up, the jigs, the quality checks, all the certifications to get to a point where you can say, I've got the prototype, much like the Rimac story. There's a whole process in terms of testing, development, crashing, homologating, etc., etc. Where are you in that process?
We're still building up to that, because right now what we're mostly doing is getting partnerships. So we're talking with a couple of suppliers, but also what we're looking at into production. I think our first two models, we might actually use a contract manufacturer for that. And we're still in early talks with two of them, which are two of the largest contract manufacturers in the world. So we're still in early talks with them so that maybe they could manufacture these cars for us. And then with other models, then we can take that on our own.
Fantastic.
Okay, I do have an OEM license, by the way, so I think we need to talk.
Maybe you two need to get
later
together.
Definitely need to talk. Yeah.
Okay, so I think one of the things that we touched on this morning, Nhlanhla and Zet spoke about it yesterday, is critical for South African EVs. Is what are we talking about here? Are we talking about another R1 million bucky that only 5 people are going to buy? Or are we talking about a bucky that is affordable for the general public? I mean, you mentioned you want to take on the Hiluxes and the Rangers. That's a very definitive price point that you're coming in there.
Yeah, but in terms of pricing, I think it's going to be very expensive. It's going to be very expensive, especially the first few models. It's going to come in at a very high price point. But we're very confident that in other models that we're going to be releasing, then it's going to drop down with the economies of scale, of course.
Definitely. I mean, you're taking on Toyota of the world. I think that's when Toyota took on Ford in the start, and when Ford took on Ferrari in the racetrack. I mean, that's exactly what you're talking. When we're talking David and Goliath here, and these guys, they know what they're doing, and they're very good at it. That's why they are still in business after all these years. But I mean, big respect, and obviously, if we can support and help in any way, please count on us.
I would like to chat a little bit more about the technical specs. I mean, you've mentioned what kind of chassis are we talking here? I mean, some of the guys who are on here, I know they're technical guys. You have a presentation that you're going to talk us through the technical specs of this vehicle, if I'm correct.
Yeah, later on in the presentation, I'll talk about our chassis.
Okay.
Fantastic. So if you're going to talk about later on one thing I'd like to ask before we get into the technical specs, I mean the design looks good.
Wow,
it looks like something that I mean most Africans would buy. I think your designers have hit the nail on the head there. You say you want to open up orders. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, that's a good looking bucky. I could definitely see myself loading the kids and the bikes and going for in the back of a Mazibuko M1B. Tell me, Nhlanhla, where I think a lot of the questions that people ask is, have you done any kind of modeling around the charge times for your vehicle? I mean, if we're talking about charging times, what are you looking at in terms of fast charge and normal charge? Have you done any kind of modeling on that yet?
Yeah, we have. In terms of normal charge, it's going to take, if you use a type 2 charger, it's going to take around 3 hours. If you use a fast charger to go from 0 to 80%, that's going to be around 30 minutes. And then if you charge it at home, maybe with a wall plug, then that's going to be around 14 hours. That's going to be very long.
Sure.
But fast charging, 30 minutes, 0 to 80%. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking industry numbers. I mean, this is numbers that other big OEMs are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man. Look, wow. I think I see there's lots of questions coming through. I'm gonna hold these off for 1 second, and I'm gonna let you talk us through the specs, because I think a lot of questions are coming through of what type of chassis we're talking about, what kind of battery. I think that you're going to answer these questions, so maybe we can hand back to you. You can take us through some of the technical specs, and then once we're done with that, any questions that haven't been answered on my screen here, which is just flicking up with questions, you can take us through. But I'm super excited. M1B, sign me up.
Yeah, blown away.
So the MMC platform. So what happened was last year during our development plan, the plan was to use an OEM's existing chassis. But then we found out that the process of actually getting it was very slow. There's a lot of negotiations, and also there's not a lot that you can do with it in terms of licensing. So we decided to develop our own. It's still early in development, our chassis, but it's fully integrated. So you have the e-axle, the motor, power electronics, and transmission. As you can see in the slide in your screen, that is our design for our, okay, it's a bit forward now. Please slow down. So right there, what you have, that is the chassis. And then those are the two motors, or our e-axles basically. And each motor has 250 kilowatts. And then when you combine them, that's up to 500 kilowatts. And then it's a 4-wheel drive. Then you move forward. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So in this slide, then you can see that is the fully integrated platform, which it's the e-axle, power electronics, and the battery pack. And the battery pack, that is 120 kilowatt hours. But we're going to have more than that. So we're thinking 120, 140, and then 180 for the long range. And in the next slide, you can see how our platform fits in the bottom of the vehicle. And yeah, I think that's it. So what's next? I know that just to answer some questions that might come later. So this year, our plan is to build up the prototype and actually start physical testing. Everything up to this point has been self-funded. So we're going to start our funding round, and also going to start crowdfunding. And with the crowdfunding, the name of the buggy, the M1B, actually people who crowdfund, we want them also to suggest names So the name of the car right now is just a standing name, and then people can actually suggest name, and then we're going to pick one from one of the people who are in our crowdfunding platform, in our crowdfunding campaign. And then later this year, the plan is around December, we're going to have an event where our customers who are on the waiting list, investors, and the media can actually come, and then probably they can see the prototype, and then they could test drive it, and see what it drives like and what it's like. And yeah, thank you. And that's the end of the presentation.
So Nhlanhla, I hope we've got you, and I hope you're ready for a flood of questions, because you have got the 180 odd people who are on our Zoom call at the moment, extremely excited. So there's a lot of questions coming through here. Firstly, I can tell you we've been running a poll since we've been talking, and we've been asking the question about, would you prefer a local manufactured EV over an imported one? I can tell you 74% of people are saying yes, they would, and it would actually affect their buying decision. So, 75% of people are saying that because it's a local manufactured vehicle, it would actually affect the buying decision. They want to buy local, they want to support. So I think for guys like you, that's great. That's a great first bit of news. We've also just opened up a poll for you, so we're gonna tell you the results in about a few minutes. I can see the votes are flying in. Would people buy an M1B? And I'll let you know the results at the end of our conversation. So we've got 100 plus people on here, and I'm going to get their votes, and hopefully they can vote, and we can give you some feedback about if they would buy an M1B. So I think that's great. I'm gonna fire through some quick questions that we have to do here. There's some people asking, what can they do around the world? Because we don't just have South African people on our call at the moment. We've got people from around the world asking, how can they help and get you up and going with the M1B? Where can they go to assist you? Where can they go to get in contact with you, Nhlanhla and Mazibuko Motor Company, to assist you with this M1B? And there's a couple of guys asking this question. So where can they come and help you?
Great question. Please go to our website. It's mazibukomotors.com. And then there's a whole flood of information that's already live now. You can learn about the car. You can learn about the chassis and everything that is there. How to invest, crowdfunding, everything is there right now.
Fantastic.
So please go to our website, and then you'll find everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's really exciting. Devon, from your side, questions?
Everything of the best, but I think obviously there has to be that plan. Every car has a life cycle, has a production life cycle. I'm not too sure also if you're familiar with the Lexus LFA. The challenge with that car was they took 10 years to build a car, and then the production cost became so high, then the car's price was totally priced out the market, and it couldn't compete. So therefore, all of these real world business issues from a design to production perspective, and the timing and the engineering costs, etc. But I'm sure there's plenty of people with the right brain power, to help and to step in. I'd like to be one of them as well. So nice to meet you.
So
nice to meet you.
So there's a couple of when I say a couple of comments in Nhlanhla, we're getting them thick and fast here. So one guy saying, I love your rolling chassis. Sounds like a great idea what you've done there. I mean, your developments. Inspiration, where you took inspiration for your design, who inspired you? I mean, obviously you don't just pick up a pen and start designing a car like this. Talk to us through some of your inspiration and how you got to this point.
In terms of designing the rolling chassis, the plan was, because we have two other models that we want to release not that long after the M1B. So we wanted a platform that we could throw other cars on top of it and to reduce our development cycle. So that's where we got that thing. And also there's other OEMs that are actually using it, and we have their own skateboard platform. So we wanted to use theirs, but it was a long process. Yeah. So we're like, you know what, let's just do it on our own, have everything in-house. And that's where the inspiration came from. Then in terms of the design of the buggy, I don't know. I think, like I said earlier on, the one thing that we had was that front running beam light. I only had it one time in a dream. I was like, that's what I wanted. And from there, we just started building.
So it came to you in a dream. Is that what you're telling us? This came to you in a dream?
Yeah.
Wow. Fantastic, man.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow. Okay, so I've got a question from a gentleman called Billy, and he says, you have a rather large battery spec. What do you anticipate the weight of your battery being?
I don't have the numbers yet in terms of the size, because I do know that we use 10 modules, and each module has around 65 cells, the prismatic cell. So I forgot the size of the weight of the battery pack. I'm sorry.
No problem at all. So my next question is from a gentleman called Vusi Muzi, and he wants to know, how long do you anticipate your battery life to be in the long run? Are you looking at a 5, 15, 10 year? What kind of life cycle are you anticipating with your vehicles for this M1B?
We're thinking around, it's probably 10 years, but it could be more, because right now the company that we're talking with from sourcing the batteries, it's one of the top 2 manufacturers, and Tesla actually uses the same battery.
Okay.
So we think it's going to last between 10 to 15 years.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Look, I think there's a couple of other questions coming through. I've got a great one which I particularly like. Somebody saying, "Will you be accepting Bitcoin for payments?"
Definitely.
Definitely Bitcoin.
My team will tell me the guys love Bitcoin. Yeah, our team loves Bitcoin, so definitely.
Okay, that's great. I mean,
Sure.
it's exciting because I think you've seen yesterday, and everyone kept on talking about local is lacquer. We want a local manufacturer.
Yeah, I saw.
And you know, Mazibuko Motor Company stepping
Exactly.
in to fill the void. I mean,
Exactly.
it's exciting. So you've talked about 2 other models that you want to base off this this frame. Could I hazard a guess that we're maybe talking about an SUV, like similar to what Ranger and Fortuner do, or Hilux or Ranger and Everest, I should say, and Hilux and Fortuner do? Is that something that we're talking about here? Maybe like an SUV?
I didn't want to say, but yes, definitely.
I talked
We're
you into it.
really
What can I say?
Working on the
Wow.
We're really looking at the designs, and it's definitely going to be a bike in an SUV.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, man.
Look, I think talk about fit for purpose for South Africa and for Africa. You know, that's the kind of vehicle we need. Yes, we can import cars from Europe, but those cars are designed for those markets, for their city type transportation needs. And South Africa needs a robust, tough bakkie / SUV kind of vehicle that's fully electric. And not all OEMs want to get involved in that space. So big respect and well done. And
Thank you.
wish you all the best.
Yeah. So in Nhlanhla, the other question that we had, and we've had a few of the guys asking this question, and it's a uniquely South African dilemma. And I mean, I'm going to step away from the M1B just for a moment. And we're all very excited. My order's placed, by the way. I hope you know,
Yes,
like
me
top
too.
of the list, Rob Walker, tick. I'll take mine in black with 22-inch rims, please, and that front light done. I'm ready to go. Okay, so top of the list. I don't even want you to name it after me. You can call it whatever you want. I'll drive it. Done deal.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about a uniquely South African thing. Our minibus taxis.
Yes.
Now, you as somebody looking to get into manufacturing, is there not an opportunity for someone to produce a vehicle that can move people safely, our minibus taxi environment, but it doesn't need a massive amount of range? Because most taxi drivers know exactly how many kilometers they do over in the morning and an afternoon, because they know that they need to fill up with exactly 22 liters of fuel so that they can do the trip there and back. And then they sit, often we all see them sitting on the side of the road waiting for the afternoon commute. Is there not an opportunity there for us to develop a relatively low-cost vehicle? Because it doesn't need to do 500 kilometers. I mean, you're talking about maybe 200 k's in the morning. It can then charge for 6 hours and then 200 k's in the afternoon. Is this not an opportunity that somebody is missing? Maybe somebody's just not tapping into this?
It definitely is, Rob. I'm glad that you brought that up. So right now, our entire plan is to have the bakkie and the SUV come out at the same time. And then after that, we're going to go for the minibus taxi, something the size of a Quantum. That's definitely what we want. And then after that, our 4th model is going to be a hot hatch. But the minibus taxi is something that we're definitely looking at. And the bakkie, the SUV, and the minibus taxi, that's where our platform is going to be used, those 3 models.
Fantastic. And I think that's such a understanding of your local context. Yes. I mean, you're not trying to make something that works, in the USA or something. You've identified these are the 3 types of vehicles that South Africa needs, and I think that's absolutely great. And when we finish this call, I'm going to phone you because I've got your number. I would like to be a shareholder, so you can sign me in, shareholder. Myself and Devan, we're in.
All right, thank you guys.
But so a couple of questions. I've got, again, a couple of comments that are coming through on my side here. One or two people asking, are there opportunities for graduates to join you guys? You've obviously excited a few people out there who are graduates, maybe looking for something to get involved in. Can they contact you through your company to try and get involved in the project? I mean, obviously there's an excitement here that guys want to get involved with Mazibuko Motor Company.
Yes, please do that. They can go to our website and then they can contact us from there. Because even right now, we're still in early talks with the University of Johannesburg. We're getting a couple of students there to come and join us as interns. And then we're also going to have a couple of final year students in mechanical engineering working with us.
Fantastic. I mean, that's really, really exciting, and I think it's great to hear. What I can tell you is, I've just been shown a computer screen through the studio door here, where our emails are lighting up, and people are saying, can we share your? If people email us, are you comfortable with us sharing your contact details? I mean, these are people that may be wanting to assist you and help you. Are you comfortable that we can share with them your contact details? We're also going to put the website up on our feed so people can see the website, but we're getting emails from people. They are asking to get in contact with you in Nhlanhla. I think you have, on the 2nd of March, on this Tuesday morning, you have excited the South African people. We now have something coming out of South Africa that is uniquely South African.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, I think we'll talk off camera and then I'll give you all the contact details, which people to give what and the rest.
Fantastic. So I have another question that's come through. Are you planning to maybe work with an EV and incorporate? We've been talking about solar panels. Is that something, obviously South Africa, we live in a sunny country. Is that maybe something that you would like to consider building into some future planning here? I like the question. To charge the M1B?
We've thought about it, and in terms of efficiency, the solar panel makes not that much of a difference. But an idea that we have right now is a cover for the back of the buggy. So those roller tents. Mm-hmm. So you want to have an accessory where that back cover could actually be a solar panel. So you can close it up and then that can charge the entire buggy. Or you can leave it at home if you want.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not part of the structure, it's not part of the production costs, etc. So it's a good way to add it on.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's again, what a great innovative idea. Taking something that would normally be kind of a side thing, something that just to cover your goods. Now you can stick your solar panel on, and then you can charge your fridge. So when you get to where you need to be, your cool drinks are cold, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yep. In Nhlanhla, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, I'm really excited. Devon, any more questions from your side while we've got the man on the line? Because I think in a year's time it might be difficult to get him on the line.
No, absolutely. So many questions. I think you're gonna need a team of consultants. I think from all the different aspects, in terms of engineering, production, sales, brand, marketing, and the whole stuff. But I'm sure this country is happy to support you. I mean, what a proudly South African initiative. This is a small world, and well done.
So before we let you go in Nhlanhla, and I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to be hearing more of you in the newspapers really soon. Really try and get this out there. I'd like to share our poll results with you. So everyone who's voted so far, 66% of people who are currently on our online chat are telling us yes, they would buy an M1B, and that's just from seeing a few renders. So 67% now, people are voting. That is a strong indication that what you have initially put out as a concept is a great concept, and people are already thinking of buying and wanting to be in touch with you. So I think you guys have a very bright future ahead of you in Nhlanhla. I'm super excited. I mean, I couldn't be more excited.
A real privilege.
All right. Thank you,
to
guys.
have you.
I think we still have time. Are there any more questions?
We do have some more.
We still have time, don't we?
We do have a few more minutes
because we didn't take a 5-minute break. Yeah.
No, so we do have a couple more minutes. I'm just quickly going through a couple of. I have a nice question. Maybe this would be good for you to answer. What are your thoughts around manufacturing? Obviously, you're moving into manufacturing EVs. So we've established that big news headline. Yeah. In South Africa, what are your thoughts around the challenges facing people like yourself looking to manufacture EVs in South Africa, and taking into account all the components and processes that are required for manufacture? And go.
The challenges. I think specifically if we talk about location, the main problem could be maybe battery production because we don't have any battery production locally. But I don't think that we have that much of a problem. I mean, like what Devin always says, South Africa has a very large culture of manufacturing. We have people who've been doing it for many years, and we have professionals who know how to do it, and we have one of the best plants in the world. So I don't think it's that much of a problem.
Yeah.
Just the problem could be maybe sourcing, especially batteries. Batteries, that is the biggest problem right now, sourcing for batteries. But anything else locally, we're good to go.
Okay, so what you're telling us is that it actually isn't that daunting. It's other than the batteries, we have the skills, we have the engineers, we have the know-how, and this is something that we actually shouldn't be scared about doing. Is that what I'm hearing from you, Nhlanhla?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've got the the local production facilities already, so the skills are there. So you just need to hire them in. And I'm sure just like how we import an engine and build a car locally, but the engine's completely imported, so we import the battery for now till we can start producing on our own.
Yeah.
So just like we do it, for all the other cars, we can do it for you.
We can do it the same.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And Nhlanhla, I got another question. We got some viewers here from other African countries. The question is very quickly: is will the M1B be? Are you looking at more than just Africa? Are you looking up into Africa? Are you looking at international sales? Is that kind of the second growth phase once your vehicles are out there? And should those people also be looking to place pre-orders come December?
The rest of Africa wouldn't say they should start with their pre-orders now, but as a company, that's why we developed the car, to save us Africa and probably Australia, but definitely Africa was the entire goal because Africa always gets horrible cars. Even when you talk about ICE vehicles, we get second-hand cars that emit a lot of pollution and we don't get any good EVs. So that's why we started this company, not only to service South Africa, but Africa as a whole. So we're definitely going into the rest of the continent.
Okay, so before we get to the end here, and I have got an interesting question that's just been come through, and I think it's going to be a key one, is when you talk of crowdfunding, when you talk of investments and those types of things, do you? I mean, there's obviously a big number that we're going to talk about here. Where are you looking? What kind of capital is Mazibuko Motor Company looking to raise in the near future? I mean, what kind of numbers are we talking about here?
For our seed round, we're looking at 150 million rands.
Okay.
And then for our crowdfunding campaign, we're looking at 50 million.
Okay, so we're looking at a total of 200 million to get you to the point where manufacturing can happen. We can start rolling M1Bs off the production line.
Yeah.
Look, I mean,
more or less.
It sounds like a huge number.
No, as a start.
But in the relativity to, I mean, we all know Ford just committed 2.5 billion rand odd or whatever to South Africa, the Silverton plant. So in terms of the industry that you're in, it isn't a massive number that you're talking about. This
it's really not.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's really not. And I think
No, go for it.
Oh no, I was about to say, the only reason also why we're able to do what we want to do with such a small number is that we're looking for our first run of vehicles. Like I said, we're talking to a contract manufacturer. So they're just going to put our car into their own assembly and then they're going to assemble it for us. Then we're going to take it to the guys and then we're going to sell it. And then afterwards, then we're going to build our own facility.
Yes, that's what it's about. But you may need IDC or DBSA to get involved in that. But it's going to be a few billion. But with the right plan and with the right people on board, that shouldn't be an issue.
Well, I'm so excited. I mean, I'm thinking, Nhlanhla, one of the big things we spoke about yesterday, everyone kept on saying we need local vehicles, we need to bring it in, we need to have local manufacturers. And here we are talking to a young local South African, and you've taken the bit between the teeth, and you said, well, why can't we do it? I'm going to come up with a design that's interesting, that's nice, and I've got a plan for a product line which is going to use the same ladder, the same platform, and I can only wish you the best of luck. I mean, I cannot wait to see Mazibuko Motor Company out there mixing it up with the big guys and seeing some M1Bs out there on the roads. Devon, you from an OEM background.
Exactly. And
any final pearls of wisdom that you can share with our young entrepreneur here?
This is a fantastic idea. be strong, chins up. You have strong opposition, but with the right will, anything is possible.
100%.
And with the right support, a bakkie is proudly South African in its context, in its relevance, and there's very few OEMs that actually invest enough in that segment. So your competitors are strong, but very few. So if you get it right, you can create something proudly South African that's maybe even funded by South Africa. And we then have a badge, and we have maybe the second South African Tesla founder, say, so to speak.
Fantastic. Well, we could
Well
always
done.
do with a second local Tesla. So,
Yeah.
Nhlanhla, from myself and Devan in studio, you've given us something so exciting that we're going to have to go for a tea break, so we can just kind of settle down a little bit before we go on to our next speaker. Any final thoughts from you for all the people who are watching on YouTube, Facebook, on our Zoom? You've got loads of support out there. South Africans want to support you. Any final thoughts from you, sir?
For now, I'd just like to say the support is needed. Support is definitely needed. We're building a car. It's by South Africans for South Africans. So definitely need the support, and that's it.
Fantastic. So get out there, go to Mazibuko Motors,
Yes.
go to the website. We'll send it out to everyone so they can contact you, and we will be hearing more from you in the near future, I believe. This is not going to be the last time we hear from you, sir.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Awesome. Well, I hope that this morning has, if anything, given you a little bit of exposure out there, given you some leads, helped you on your journey in some small way. We've been excited to have you, and thank you so much for joining us and taking some time out of what I'm sure is your very busy schedule at the moment. So thank you so much.
No, thank you guys for the opportunity to have us launch our car here.
Thank you, and talk to you soon.
Yes, definitely. Bye.
Thanks, Nhlanhla. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So,
Wow.
launch of a local manufactured bakkie. We're talking about a 400 kilometer range, charge time that's very comparative to everything else out there. Built here in South Africa.
Wow. That's the key. That's the absolute key for me. It's all about local production, local employment, and all the other skills that will come from that, and all the other suppliers, because we need windscreens and body parts, etc. So it's more than just saying we're building a car and we employ X amount of people.
Yeah.
And this can just blow up into something completely much bigger.
Yeah.
In the future.
100%.
Well done.
So on that note, we're going to go for a quick tea break. We're going to be back at 11:05 with Tian and Johannes from TUT talking about concept solar cars on South African roads. I think there's a couple of questions asking about solar charging. People now thinking this is an opportunity. Tian and Johannes are going to bring it into us, explain us the opportunities that are there. And I think everyone maybe needs to just go and have a cup of tea and a cup of coffee and just relax after that. Yeah. The launch of the M1B here live on EMCSA Day 2.
Wow.
Fantastic. Everyone, thank you very much. We will see you in exactly 15 minutes time for our next session after our short tea break. From myself and Devan, have a great morning.
Great morning. See you soon.